Hello, folks. So, those of us who've been using Linux for a long time, we recognize and understand that for a very long time now, we have not had to worry about scams or malware specifically on desktop Linux. And it's not because the technology is too advanced for them to get into. It's quite honestly because we just aren't worth it. Our market share is too small. Now there are exceptions to this, but as a general rule, we're not good enough to be targets. Most of us are not running government computers, government agency, big business with lots of secrets. So we just haven't been worth it. And that's starting to change. And if you don't know, there's a podcast called Security Now that's hosted by Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson. Steve Gibson is the man behind grc.com. He is the creator of SpinRite, which makes sure your hard drives and even your USB thumb drives are doing what they're supposed to be doing, not fouled up, and can do a lot of fixing if you need it. And he's also the creator of Shields Up, which I've used for years. The Shields Up will actually test your connection security and make sure that you can't be found by sniffers. And what sniffers are is they look for open ports that can be attacked. When you hit Shields Up and you run the test, you want it to come up as stealth, and the sniffer doesn't even know you're there, and it continues on to somebody else. So what we really want to talk about is what's in this latest episode of Security Now. I'm going to read the transcript. I'm going to link the YouTube channel for Security Now and GRC and Twit.tv. This particular transcript and Twit.tv, I'm going to link them in the description of this video. I'm going to read it as it is. You can go to the YouTube channel video that I'm going to link, and you can watch it for yourself. Great podcast. I subscribe to it. Here I'm going to read. It hadn't occurred to me before, but the dropping of Windows in favor of Linux for desktops across various European countries, which is an emerging trend, carries a downside for longtime users of desktop Linux, which is an inevitable increase in the prevalence of malware Linux. We know that the bad guys go where potential victims are. From the earliest days of PC, this has been reliably Windows. For this reason, while there has certainly been Mac and Linux malware created, that by far the lion's share of today's malware directly targets Windows users. This won't be changing anytime soon, but the security community is already beginning to notice a clear uptick in the prevalence of Linux desktop malware. And let's see if he continues to... I'm going to try to not make this very political, but some countries around the world have decided that Microsoft might not be a good long-term partner because relations between the country and the United States can potentially change at any moment every 4 years. So some countries around the world have decided that maybe putting all your eggs in a Microsoft basket isn't such a good idea. That will continue on. When entire European countries are standardizing on Linux, phishing, email, and social engineering scams are bound to be targeting them. And some of that is bound to overflow into the wider Linux using community. What caused me to generalize this trend was the news that the suspected Pakistani APT-36 threat group had been found to be targeting Indian government employees who are now using Linux workstations. And as you know, as we said, as an increasing number of governments around the world are moving to the campaign delivers Linux desktop shortcuts via spear phishing emails. Once open, the shortcut files download and execute malicious payloads. Security firms CloudSec and Safirma have linked the attacks to the APT-36, which is a a group also known as Transparent Tribe. I have a picture in the show notes diagramming this particular attack kill chain. Gotta be AI doing the transcribing. Gotta be. The threat actors first use phishing to distribute a malicious zip archive that has a .pdf zip extension. The unwitting government employee opens the zip and executes a disguised desktop file, believing that they are opening a PDF. The desktop file downloads a base64 encoded ELF binary payload from Google Drive using curl. The ELF binary opens a decoy PDF in Firefox, so the unwitting employee thinks, oh yeah, I opened a PDF just like I was expecting. While in the background, a Go binary is executed. The Go binary establishes persistence through GNOME auto start mechanisms. I wonder if that would work on KDE Plasma, since I'm not using GNOME. I don't know. Be an interesting question. Establishes persistence through GNOME auto start mechanisms and cron system services. I think most Linuxes have cron. The malware performs environment checks, anti-debugging, self-protection, and sandbox detection, all designed to elude security researchers reverse engineering it. And finally, it establishes a persistent WebSocket connection to the malicious command and control server at port 8080 at a specific IP for remote command execution. The takeaway for our many regular Linux desktop users is that things can be expected over time to generally be heating up on the malware front for Linux. Yep, absolutely, 100%. It's not that Linux can't be hacked, because it can. It's not that Linux is, honestly, it's a little more secure than Microsoft, but you know, if that's where the money is, that's where they're going to be going. Yeah. As Microsoft's monetizing move away from the provision of hands-off, clean, and simple desktop operating systems crosses over Linux's The Price is Right increasingly stable, open, and openly accessible desktop solutions, the bad guys are sure to start aiming in that fertile new ground. So keep your eyes peeled, everybody. Just as I was writing the above text, I noted, I'm not kidding, like right as it was happening, my iPhone lying next to me wanted to update itself. It offered to update at midnight, but I said, okay, go ahead. So I picked it up and said, go ahead. It was updating to 18, and that's a patch against recently revealed CVE 2025. So, yeah, I mean, if there's a target and there's money behind that target, they are going to be targeting it. So I wanted to share with my Linux community that to keep an eye out, because it's coming. It's coming. Anyway, I'm gonna share all the good stuff. I'm gonna share it. twit.tv, grc.com, and the Security Now YouTube channel. I'm gonna share that in the description. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't think you're safe just because you run Linux. You still, the person clicking the buttons is still the weakest link in any security. That's just true. So watch out for those phishing emails. Anyway, that's all for this one. And as always, thank you for watching.